Hello again, everybody. In this video, I'm going to show you how we can create and write to a file using C. To work with files, there's a built-in struct, a file, provided by the standard input-output header file. The data type is going to be file, all caps. What we'll be doing is creating a pointer to a file struct. To create a pointer, we'll use the dereference operator. Then we need a name for this file. A common convention is to type lowercase p, and then a variable name. We'll say file. Now this will equal, here we'll attempt to create a file. We'll call a function of fopen, file open. The first argument is a file path. It can be a relative file path or an absolute file path. We'll stick with the relative file path just because it's more simple, but later on we'll use an absolute file path. What would you like your file to be named? Let's say output, and this will be a plain text file, .txt. Now the second argument that you need to pass in is a mode. W is for write mode. R is for read mode. We're going to be writing a file. We need W. Now when you open a file, it is good practice to close your file when you're done with it. We'll do so at the end of our program. We can use fclose, this is a function, then pass in our pointer to our file struct. You do want to be sure that you're closing any files that you open. You want to free those resources when you're done using them. Or in case if you forget to close your file, you might not be able to edit it in a different program, because another program might see that something is currently editing it. When you open a file, just be sure to close it. It is easy to forget though. Just as a habit, whenever I open something, I'll also write the code to close it at the end, just so I don't forget to do that later. Now with the fopen function, if we're unable to create and open a file, this function is going to return a value of null. But we can use that. Let's check if the pointer to our file is directly equal to null. That means we couldn't open the file. So let's print something. Let's print error opening file. To exit a program prematurely, you can return a value that's not 0. Let's return 1. This serves as an exit code. If we reach the end of the program and we return 0, that means there were no errors. If we return something that's not 0, that means there was an error. So just to test this, I'm going to cut our file name and just see what happens. Error opening file. Okay, that's a good sign. Now let's put that file path back in, output.txt. And nothing appears to happen, which is good. And we end up creating a file, output.txt, but there's no text. That's a good sign. But now we need to write some text to this file. Here's how. Let's say we have an array of characters, some text. We have a character array named text. Equals, and this will be a string. Think of something to write. Booty, booty, booty. I'll add a new line. Rockin' everywhere. We're going to take our text and write it to this file. Assuming we pass the check where our pointer does not equal null, this is where we'll write some text. Rather than using just printf to print something, we're going to use printf, file printf, and there's 3 arguments. We need a pointer to a file, a format specifier of what we're trying to write. We're going to write a string, %s, and then our text, which we just named text, right here. This part isn't necessary. Let's print a confirmation message. We'll just say, file was written successfully. And then be sure we're closing our file at the end. All right, let's delete our current text file and run this again. File was written successfully. And let's take a look at this file. There we go. Here's my poem. Booty, 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 rockin' everywhere. The file should appear in the same folder or around the same folder as your executable. Let's say that when I generate this file, I would like to do so on my desktop. Well, I can use an absolute file path, but I need to know what that is. I'm going to click on one of these folders, go to Properties, and cut this location. Preceding the name of the file, we're going to paste that file path. You'll likely need to use double backslashes. Otherwise, C thinks you're using an escape sequence. Let's see if we create and place this file on my desktop. File was written successfully, and let's take a look to see if it's there. Here it is. It says, booty, 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 rockin' everywhere. Alright everybody, that's how to create and write a file using C.